Today? Is that why you're still early?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Myra Ansari here for Wave Now. Cannot believe that school is starting for JCPS students on Wednesday. So this is going to come, maybe some parents are forgotten about it, but it's really important to kind of note what time your kids are going to be starting school this year. So there's a new policy that's in place. It's JCPS's Smart Start Times policy because of the bus driver shortage. School's going to start between 7:40 and 9:40 a.m. and it is going to be dismissing between 2:20 and 4:20 p.m. This later start time is after many parents are scheduled to be at work. So this is really going to impact a lot of families. So city leaders and school officials, they're asking employers to be mindful of this and adopt a flexible scheduling practices for those employees affected by this Smart Start Times policy. It's a mouthful, so I apologize. City leaders are coming together to sign this resolution that's urging the employers to start this new flexible scheduling practices. So this will kind of help folks who have different times and schedules that they're going to be taking care of their kids. It's going to be a change for a lot of folks. So this resolution is going to hopefully help motivate employers to be a little bit more understanding of their employees who have to also be parents. So folks are gathered at Metro Hall right now. They're getting ready for this press conference that's going to be starting here shortly to sign this resolution to kind of motivate employers to be mindful of the start times and how they're changing here in Jefferson County. So community leaders are coming together again to talk about flexible scheduling for people that are going to be impacted by this. If you are a parent, a JCPS parent, and these start times are going to impact you, I'd love to hear about it. You can drop me a comment in the comment section here on the stream. How are you adjusting your schedule? Is your employer being helpful about that? Would love to hear from you. So because change can be hard. It's hard on parents, it's hard on kids, and it can be hard on employers too. But this will hopefully help a lot of the issues that JCPS is facing to kind of get kids in school at a proper time to make sure they're not missing their schedules and their lessons as well. So we're waiting at Metro Hall for this press conference to start. Wanted to bring it to you live here on Wave Now. So this is in order to account for a bus driver shortage. So again, schools are going to be starting between 7:40 and 9:40 and also dismissed between 2:20 and 4:20. This can be a little tough for parents if you have a couple of kids and their start times are different. And maybe they're getting home at different times as well. So it's going to be an adjustment. Looks like some leaders are coming over to the podium right now, and we're going to listen in.
Yeah, I think we should all stand up here. I'm going to introduce you. And then you guys. Yeah, you guys all.
Yes.
Hey, let me switch. You can get the smoke. No, I'm just...
Good afternoon, and thank you all for coming. Today is the official first day for JCPS teachers for this upcoming school year. Of course, we all know that teachers have been working and planning since well before today, however. I know this from personal experience. My wife, Rachel, spent several years as a JCPS teacher. And I know that the time that teachers and students spend inside the classroom is only one aspect of how much school affects their lives of families, and the life of our entire community. And that interaction between our schools and our community is what we're here to talk about today. When classes for JCPS begin on Wednesday, most schools will have different start times than they had last year. In the past, all JCPS schools had one of two starting times. This year, there'll be 8 different starting times for schools K through 12, with separate start times for early childhood centers. For K through 12, school will start between 7:40 and 9:40 a.m. and end between 2:40 and 4:40 p.m. The new Start Smart plan was approved by the Jefferson County Board of Education in March. The new schedule is designed primarily to address the chronic shortage of school bus drivers in Louisville. This is a challenge that school districts across our entire country are facing. It is not unique to Louisville. As a result, Dr. Polio and his colleagues and all of us in our city have seen that far too often students miss classroom time because their school bus got to school late. And that hurts students' educational performance, and that's a problem for the students, for their families, and the future of our city. And that's why I wholeheartedly support the Start Smart plan. It's an important step forward for JCPS and for Louisville. At the same time, I recognize that even positive change is something that we all have to adjust to. That's true for teachers, students, and parents. It's also true for our city's employers. Right now, there are working parents all over the city who are trying to figure out how to adjust their own schedules so that their kids can get to and from school safely and that they can get to work on time. They'll get there and get it all worked out, but it'll probably take some time. So it's important that we as employers recognize that. As mayor, I lead our metro government, which has over 5,000 employees, and many of them are parents who are adjusting to this new process. So it's critical that in moments of transition like this, we give employees the flexibility and understanding they need to make this adjustment. As a result, I've told my colleagues throughout metro government to provide as much flexibility as possible to parents of JCPS students. And that's also the message I've conveyed to leaders of some of our city's largest employers. And that's the message that my colleagues on the Metro Council sent loud and clear on July 27th, when they unanimously passed Resolution 7423, which urges all employers in Jefferson County to adopt flexible scheduling practices for those employees affected by the JCPS Start Smart Start Times policy. I want to thank Councilman Ja'Cory Arthur, Councilman Philip Baker, Councilman Kumar Rashad, and for leading this effort, for their advocacy, for focusing on this important issue for our city. Thank you all for being champions for working families in your district and throughout our city. This will send a loud message across our city to employers to help be understanding towards parents of JCPS students. So before I sign this resolution, I'd like to call upon Councilman Ja'Cory Arthur, who is a sponsor of this resolution. Councilman?
Thank you. Hopefully, I speak for all public officials when I say the work we do is because we need to do it, even if we don't want to do it. A little bit less than 70% of the students in Jefferson County Public Schools ride buses to and from school. But just last year, we saw that on average, every day, there were dozens of delays, thousands of students missing class, and millions of minutes of lost instruction time. So JCPS did what it needed to do. And anytime we have change, sometimes that comes with criticism and concern. A concern that I heard from constituents that we serve is that they were worried about how the new schedules would impact them, how it would impact working families. So I asked the mayor if Metro government could lead by example, and we are. Now we need public and private employers to lead with us. One day, these kids will be working at your companies. One day, they'll be running your companies. One day, they'll be running this city. But we can't get to one day if we don't commit to them today. So I want to call to the podium a brother who commits to our students all year round, who's in JCPS, where I used to be and can't wait to go back to, Councilman Philip Baker, to say a few words.
Good afternoon. Thank you to Councilman Arthur. A lot of you all know I'm a family resource coordinator within JCPS, and one of our models is always to remove barriers. And so that is what the intent of this resolution is. But also as a father of the three sons in the school system, I can say flexibility, we have to be flexible. As John Wooten, the longtime UCLA basketball coach, said, flexibility is the key to stability. I am proud of Dr. Polio, the school board, and all involved for doing what they can of putting student achievement first. And we're asking through this resolution for employers to follow suit. I think thankful to our mayor for urging Metro and other employees to follow suit as well. This plan is aimed for students to get the instructional hours needed to succeed and be more involved in class. And we as a community must be committed to push together, to row together, to remove those barriers to learning. So I am extremely happy to co-sponsor this resolution with Councilman Arthur and Councilman Rashad, urging employers throughout Louisville to be flexible with families as our community adopts these new school times. And now we're going to give it off to Councilman Rashad. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Baker. Thank you to my other co-sponsor, Ja'Cory Arthur. Thank you, Mayor Greenberg and Dr. Marty Polio. I appreciate you all for this resolution. As stated earlier, we have 8 new starting times, range from kids can go to school 7:40 and some of them don't, go into close to 10 o'clock. And, some kids get out around 2:20 and some gets out closer to 4 o'clock. It's an extreme time. It requires so much work and effort on our parts as a community to come together to do what's right by our community. As you all remember, in 2020 is when the pandemic started, and the pandemic started, employers were very flexible about their work times because there was compassion for the city and compassion for the workers and the times we're in. We are not in the same times we were before the pandemic, and even though this resolution is not related to the COVID pandemic, it does require the same amount of compassion that is needed for our families, our employers, and our employees to run correctly, just to run correct and succinct. So please, we just encourage the city, all of our private workers, our employees, just to be more flexible. Be more flexible with your times and compassionate. Be with our times at JCPS, because we can only do this work together, and together we can succeed. And nothing has to be the same way as it used to be. So thank you and let's move forward. Now, right after me, I want to go ahead and bring to the microphone Superintendent, our fearless leader of JCPS, Dr. Marty Polio.
All right, good afternoon. Exciting week ahead of us here. So it's a lot of things going on in JCPS, a lot of massive changes. First, I want to thank the mayor, Mayor Greenberg, for your consistent support of JCPS and our work with the students of this community. We all know it's critical for the success of this city that we educate our kids and do a great job at that. I also want to thank Councilman Arthur Baker and Rashad. Thank you so much. All 3 educators, so they know what it takes each and every day to do this work. And I can't thank you all enough. This is not something that I reached out to them and said, please do this. They did this on their own to support JCPS. That's the community leadership that is just incredible. And I thank all 3 of you for your support of this. And I've been talking for many years about our attendance crisis across this nation, where we have anywhere between 1/3 and 40% of our kids chronically absent. This is happening in communities all across the nation. And so we were looking at ways to improve attendance prior to the bus driver shortage. We looked at ways where we could get adolescent students to start school later, because research is very clear about adolescents starting school later and that impact on attendance and student achievement, and especially those students from high poverty homes. Without question, that achievement is impacted. So we knew that change was going to be difficult, because in JCPS, not much has changed in 40 years, including start times. Until this summer, now we are making that change. But then exacerbated on top of the attendance issues, we have a severe bus driver shortage, just like almost every county in the Commonwealth and every city in America right now. And so what we had last year were kids, has been documented so far, kids missing school every day, 20,000 kids over the course of the year, millions of minutes. Unfortunately, it was probably many of our kids who need it the most, our neediest kids who might have been missing school. What I did know was doing the same thing was not an option for this year. We cannot continue to do the same thing. So we had to make bold change. We had to make some tough decisions. We had a few options. So let's be clear about some of our options. We could go like other cities have gone and not provide transportation to students outside of their reside school. You only get transportation to that reside school. Or we only transport certain students and don't transport other students. Those are steps we looked at but did not want to take. Instead, we said we had to diversify our start and ending times to make sure that we could have bus drivers meeting the needs of all of our kids. So now we know that 40 minutes before school will be the first time a child is dropped off, not an hour and a half early like it was last year. 40 minutes after school, all children will be picked up and taken home. Now, I have to say, this is a major challenge with major change, and it does require some community support, which is what we have right here. It also requires a whole lot of people saying, I understand the need of the whole, so I'm willing to pitch in and help. And I think this is what this resolution is all about. There's no doubt it's going to be a challenging opening day. Nearly every bus driver has changed their routes. We no longer have the same routes in the morning and the afternoon. So bus drivers have different routes. They've been practicing those routes, but it's a big change for us. Any opening day is hard. This is going to be the most difficult of all of them. But I'm confident and thankful for our bus drivers, for the work they've been doing to prepare for this, and all of our educators, so that we know we'll have a great opening day on Wednesday morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Polio. Before I sign the resolution, I really just want to commend you and your colleagues on your outstanding leadership of JCPS. And as you mentioned, really tackling challenging problems with bold solutions. That's what our city needs. That's what JCPS needs. And we are fortunate to have you leading our JCPS school system, whether it's on issues like this, whether it's on the quality of the physical infrastructure of our schools, on curriculum, and also being a great partner to Metro government on working to improve pre-K and early childhood learning. These are just some of the things that we are collaborating on together with JCPS. So I'm excited to sign the resolution now. And again, just want to encourage every employer throughout all of Louisville, please provide flexibility to your employees. This is a change. We will get through it. It will become the new normal. But in the coming weeks, please be understanding, and please provide flexibility to your employees. Thank you. All right.
That's not a video. Hold on. Look, make me do that, right? Good stuff. Good. Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Thanks again, man. Yeah, well, that's great. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you. We got big man, so it's only like man. It's going Oh, did you really? Yeah, because you're trying to get in, so don't be too good with it. No, you're good. Yeah.
Also, Baker and Rashada. I called both of y'all. Thank you so much.
What was that?
Oh, thank you. Appreciate you.
What we got to do?